Okay guys, so we've got our LED and our button cell in position. So now it's just a straightforward trace really. If you've got really straight lines, then you'd use a straight line tool, but many of the objects you're going to be drawing will be curves. And so for that we'll use something called a spline tool. So let's jump ahead and I'll show you how to get started. We're going to go across to my drawing sketch and double click, remember, on that one, so that is the active sketch, my drawing. I'm going to come up and in our pencil box, if I had sort of something that was lots of straight lines, I'd draw it with straight lines, just with my line tool. But I'm going to use a spline, and I choose the fit point spline. And basically, my sort of approach with this, I'd probably start on the outside and then work your way in. Okay, so I'm going to pick a start point somewhere on the edge, let's say here. Okay, I'm just going to untick this little snap button, and that just lets me sort of have a bit more control over where exactly I click the next part. So I'm going to stay on that line and I'm going to click just a short distance away from the first one. There's my second click. Now what I'm going to do is come around and choose my next one, and then hopefully it's going to start sort of curving for me. So you can see that little line, and I'm just going to zoom out and then zoom in a bit so I can find where that's it. I want to go to, say, there. And then I want to come around to here and come around to here, come around to here. Now, when you get to a change of direction, particularly a tight change of direction, if you click right in that corner, which is the temptation, okay, then what will happen is, let me just zoom out of that a little bit. What will happen is if I click right there, and then it's going to curve to the next one. So instead I'm going to click just a little bit before, and then if I zoom in, I'm going to click just over on the other side of that. Okay, something like that. And then I can start working back in the other direction. Okay, and if you can, okay, so I'm using my mouse just to track in and out of things. If you can, try to go around it in one go. So we've got another one of these tight curves here. So I'm going to do something like that and that. Okay, zoom out, zoom in. Don't worry about it being absolutely 100% perfect on the line. When all's said and done, well, two things really. One, we can adjust it. We can modify. You see each of those little dots represents one of my clicks, one of my nodes. Okay. One, we can change things, and two, you know, our trace is just a trace. It's really just a guideline. And if you compare doing this to doing it freehand, this is going to be a lot better, isn't it? It's going to be easier and quicker and better. Okay. So now sometimes you might find you need to sort of stretch a little bit further. I'm going to go all the way down to there. So it's sort of, I think it's trying to be a bit predictive for me, which is okay. I'm perfectly happy with that. If it's more or less following my outline, I can live with that. So let's zoom out a little bit, zoom in to here. And in fact, that's going to take me almost all the way back to where I want to be. I might actually go with that. So for that final one, or is it? Hang on, it says that. It looks like it's jumping inside a little bit. So hang on just a second. Something doesn't seem quite right to me there. So let me just put a click about halfway, and I'll try and move that in a little while, and then I'm coming back on to my line, and then I want to go right back to where I started and press my enter key. Okay, now you'll see that I've got a blue line, which is the trace that I've just done, which pretty accurately follows around the shape, but in places isn't perfect. Okay, so we can modify that doing one of two things. We can get hold of the point, the node, and we can drag it and sort of reposition things. Okay, that's one option. The other option is that we click and we pull up these green handles and we just use those to gently pull or push our line to where we want it to be. Okay, so I'm just going to pull that one out a little bit. Yeah, so one needed pulling in, one needed a bit of a push. We've got something a little bit here if you want it. Again, it doesn't need to be super perfect. So I wouldn't be obsessive about this. I'm pretty happy about that. It's not totally right here. Maybe I could fix that a little bit and just sort of push that in slightly. But as I say, I wouldn't be. And the other thing is you've got to be a bit careful because you can end up sort of pushing it in one place like I've just done here, and it's then making a change a bit further around the line. But there you go. I think that's pretty good. So that's my outline trace. I'm going to stop there and then I'm going to show you on the next one how we're going to do the inside detail. Okay, well done.